Today on The Riff, Jeremy and Justin talk about appreciation, coaching, and evaluation. How do those three show up in marriages, in parenting, and in the workplace? We hope today is helpful and hopeful. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to another episode of The Riff. I'm with Justin today.
Oh, man.
Justin.
Hey, it's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
We've had a couple of episodes.
I know. And to be just transparent,
Yeah.
little hurtful. Here's what I keep hearing. Marty this, Marty that. Not, wow, Jeremy wasn't there, but just Marty this.
No, I know.
And here's what's even more annoying. They were good.
They were
good. But
good.
I was like, Marty, your services are not needed today because I am back here with Justin on The Riff, and we're excited to be here. And today we're going to talk about, but sometimes, we're going to share stories, which, by the way, I'm excited to interview one of our North Point staff at our next episode. Will come out next week. So we'll share stories. We'll do behind the scenes things. We'll talk theology, and sometimes we even talk about a book and kind of in a leadership vein, and that's what we're going to do today.
Okay, I dig it.
Okay, so there's this book that I just recently finished, and when I say that, I don't mean that I wrote it. When I say I finished a book, that means when Preston says he finished a book,
right, it means he wrote
we're
it.
like, cool, when does it release? Okay. So I just finished a book. It's called Thanks for Your Feedback.
Oh, you're welcome.
No. So the title of the book is called, quote, Thanks for Your Feedback, unquote.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was written by a couple authors.
Okay.
And I don't remember their names, but they do good work. And so we'll put that on the show notes. But I wanted to talk just kind of a quick synopsis of the book. And it's something I've been super excited about. Like I think I told you about it when I got done with chapter 2. I'm like, this book is awesome. Now, I'm really only 2 chapters in, but it's awesome.
Did it continue to stay awesome?
It continued to stay awesome.
Really?
Yeah. No, the truth is the first couple chapters kind of give the whole thing away, and then it breaks it down. And, but great book. And I was super excited for our work setting. I was also excited for, parenting and also marriage, any type of relationship. So whether you're a business leader, whether you are, neck deep in relationships that matter to you, whatever hat you need to put on, I think it could apply. So let me give the premise and then we'll poke around with it. Okay.
All right.
So thanks for the feedback.
You're
Basically,
welcome.
I'm
sorry.
I'm so sorry. I know.
Man. I got to get used to this.
The book that was titled "Thanks for Your Feedback," unquote, talks about 3 different dimensions to feedback that you would have. That you would have appreciation, that you would have coaching, and that you would have evaluation. And they're all uniquely different. So it's the trinity of feedback. Okay. And they all serve a different purpose. So if I'm leading a team, if I'm evaluating or giving feedback to my kid, if I'm looking at my marriage, there's 3 elements. And if I confuse the 3, then I'm not giving good feedback. So I need to have that first part is just that appreciation. And I need to be specific. This is what you're doing that I really feel is hitting the mark. And I appreciate it, whether it's at work or at home. Second thing, coaching. Hey, let's talk about 4 different ways to present that email. Let's talk about 3 different ways to respond when your teacher says that next time. It's just coaching. It's not opinions. It's not saying, it's not emotional. It doesn't have to be. It's just, hey, here's some things we can do better. And then evaluation is, here's how you're doing in comparison to others, like at the job. Here's how you're doing in comparison to a standard, an expectation. Here's how you're doing based on our previous conversations. So now we're going to let you know where you stand. So appreciation, why I'm thankful for you, and specifically coaching, how do we improve something or do something better? And then evaluation is, let's have the honest conversation about how you're doing in this role. So those are three things. I found that I blend a lot of those three things. Let's say it's in a staff setting that I can easily get into, okay, hey, I just want you to know I'm really glad you're on the team. So Sally, here's the 6 reasons why I appreciate you. But I haven't done any evaluation. It may be the most natural and helpful thing in this performance evaluation is to evaluate, but that's awkward, right? And so I could tend to lean towards appreciation. Well, that could be confusing. Let's say Sally's not really doing a good job, but boy, she brings St. George's donuts.
She does.
She's kind. She's the first. She's got a lot of chemistry in the meetings. She's well liked in the meetings, but she keeps forgetting to post the Riff, and our Riff Raff, they're upset with Sally. And so we finally say, Sally, as much as we love St. George's and as much as we love all the other elements you bring to the table, we have to let you go because the Riff Raff deserves an episode. And now she's shocked because in my evaluations, I focused on appreciation. I've given her confusion. Or maybe what I need to do is coach. And so the whole point of this book is you got to know what is your specific angle of feedback and focus on that. Is this a meeting where I'm here to appreciate? Is this a meeting where I'm here to coach? Is this a meeting where I'm here to give evaluation and let you know where you stand? Okay. And if I do that, I bring clarity, and I should have different pockets in my organization, different pockets in my marriage where we give each other space for all of those. So,
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to pick this apart a little bit. Okay, let's talk about parenting. Let's talk about marriage, and let's talk about the workplace, because I think that hits a broad spectrum of people listening. Yep. And I think that this is probably applicable to all of those.
Love it. Yep.
Right? All right. Cool. All right. So inside of let's start with marriage.
Yeah.
Where do you find yourself leaning towards in those 3 categories inside of marriage, inside of a relationship like that?
I have a gift from God to coach.
Would Leanne call it a gift?
No,
do you think
she wouldn't even associate it from God. No, for real, that's a healthy question. Because as I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my word. In different relationships, we have a natural comfort zone in a spot, and it's based on the relationship. And I don't know why I've naturally gone in this to say, hey, I can tell you how to start your day more efficiently. Let me coach you. Here's unsolicited coaching. I don't charge. I don't even ask if she's interested. I could coach her on what direction we should go. I could coach her on all these things. And as I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, I bet that's super annoying. And there are moments where my coaching is coming across as lack of appreciation, or my coaching is coming across as an evaluation. When I say, hey, here's 6 ways to be more efficient in the morning, she might be taking that as an evaluation of, I'm not really happy with you as a person right now. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, one, it's not helpful for me to always focus there. That's not my role in marriage, right? Secondly, no, that's part of it with any relationship that I value. But also, man, how confusing is it to her? So I was like, man, I need to make sure, when are the moments where my only goal here is to just verbalize my appreciation, express my appreciation. And then probably when it comes to evaluation, that would be, those are tender moments, right? But as a couple, we can do that. So that's marriage. Okay. Where do you lean? Where do you lean on that?
Oh, I would say appreciation in the broadest sense possible, which doesn't help.
That's as helpful as specific?
No.
So give me an example of what that would look like.
Oh, you're great. You're great, babe. You're great.
Right now, are you talking
to me?
No,
to Jamie.
Because that still felt good, even though it was
good.
broad.
Yeah, you're great. Oh, you're such a great wife. Yeah. Oh, such a good mom. Yes, it's nice, and it's appreciative, and it's kind words. But then anytime we do get into, like, when I'm thinking through this lens, into a coaching conversation or an evaluation conversation, I just prefaced it with, you're a great mom or you're a great wife.
Yeah.
And then I erase it pretty much completely with any conversation that we have after that that might not make that seem true.
Yes.
Right. So I think that the thing that you're saying is be specific within those appreciation moments.
Yes.
For me, I'm thinking and I'm saying, oh, yeah, that would help.
Yeah.
That would help. So yeah. All right, parenting.
Okay, well, really quick, let me ask this question. Okay,
okay.
so you guys have just recently done something I think is awesome as a couple when it comes to evaluation. So I was going to say, okay, one, what are some ways out there for those who have significant other to appreciate? And we talked about that. Be specific, not just general. Be specific.
Yes.
Ways to coach. One, make sure it's a setting where like are both people wanting to coach, and if there's not a power dynamic in the relationship, it shouldn't be unsolicited if both people don't want it.
For sure.
And I would say that in a marriage, there shouldn't be a power dynamic where you should be able to offer unsolicited coaching.
Right.
Is you can have a conversation, hey, I would love to talk about the efficiency of this. I would love to talk about our bedtime rituals for the kids. Those would be things like, hey, let's come up with a game plan, coaching.
Yes.
But to understand anytime I give coaching unsolicited, it comes across as negative feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And then evaluation. What are ways that we can bring evaluation to a marriage? You guys just did something.
I just believe you have to be so intentional.
Okay.
And that's one, I've said this multiple times, I think, on here, that we really try to surround ourselves, two things. One, we try to surround ourselves with people that are past us.
Yes.
Meaning they have seen life that we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah.
So we're so thankful for you guys, for you and Leanne.
You just called me old.
No, I said you've seen life I haven't seen. That's all I said. That's wise. That's wisdom.
True.
That's all that is.
Matter of fact, I just went to evaluation, and now you pulled me back to appreciation.
Right there, man. Right there.
You're welcome.
But we have people in our lives that we're able to see and to then have conversations about, man, we really love this in their life.
Yes.
What are they doing, and how are we being intentional with what we're doing to then get to that spot? So that's one. Another thing we just started, we've always made a joke of we evaluate every year to see if we want to do it again, meaning marriage. Yeah. And like, all right, let's see what we want to do this time, right? As a joke. Yeah. This year we really did. And it wasn't a like, do we want to see if we want to do it again, but a very focused time to say what was right about this past year. What was wrong about this past year? What was missing and what was confusing? It's a StratOps tool.
Yeah.
So we literally took that. We rented a hotel for an entire evening.
The whole hotel?
The whole hotel. We just did one room.
Okay.
But I think you could do multiple. Yeah, it was way cheaper just to do one.
Dude, I'm going to start doing that then.
No, it was
really add up.
I know. Yeah. So we did just one room, and we did it. So Van de Voort, love that place. And they've got windows overlooking the city. So we just used the windows as a whiteboard. They got
bathrooms that you take selfies in
yes,
too.
you do. Yes, you do. And we literally started and spent probably 5 or 6 hours that first night walking through what was right, what was wrong, what was missing, what was confusing.
Like you just drew up a quadrant.
Walk through that.
Right, wrong, missing, confusing.
And then what you do is you take pieces out of that, and then you create next steps out of those, right? So it's taking those. So I'll give you an example. One of the things that was right for us was our schedule. So then we took that, put it into a whole square for us, and then just walk through a piece by piece, what was the win on the schedule? Let's try to recreate those pieces. What was not helping that schedule? Let's try to get rid of those. We walked through financials. We walked through parenting, anything and everything you could think of that happened that past year. We set up a game plan.
Now, how did this get onto your calendar? I mean, was that an awkward conversation, or were you both like, hey, let's do this one day? Do you do this at the end of a fight? Hey, you know what we need to do? We need to go and sync and evaluate this thing. Because that would be like I think that might be a helpful tool is when's the best way and how's the best way to even get something like, because that could be a game changer.
You start small. Okay. So this wasn't a new conversation for us. This has been an ongoing conversation for 20 years of how do we get better at this? How do we love each other better? How do we make a family that is open and loving and warm? Like those are the pieces that we've had conversations on over and over and over and over. And just this year has been the first time that we've done something like this. But in the past, it's been just sit down and say, we have a gratitude journal at the end of the year with the girls. And it's what was one thing you're thankful for and what's one thing that you're dreaming for. Right. So that's the thing that we do. And
you're just dropping some great ideas.
I know. And now, then what's cool is you've got that book. So it's in one book that we have. It's got a hot air balloon on it. It's adorable.
Like a real hot air balloon or a picture
it's
of?
A picture.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And you can look back. So then you can look back over the years of what's the one dream and what's the one thing you're thankful for. We've added to it. Now
that's the type of thing, if you had a fire in your house, you're grabbing that book.
Oh, for sure.
Before Sparky.
That book.
Which ironically,
I don't know. Sparky might stay. Yeah, it is ironic. And then we also have a book of fun things the kids say, which we just love reading back on. But that book has been so helpful, and it's grown to now it's not just one and one, and there's multiple goals and multiple things that you're dreaming of, and it's just fun to see the kids grow.
Wow.
And then that's how we got to our spot, because it's we're walking through a thing right now. Jamie coaches, and I'm walking through a thing, and we're breaking everything down into energy, work, and love. So there's 3 different categories that we're focused on. And that's how we started the conversation at the hotel, is what are our goals inside of each one of these pieces. That's right, wrong, missing, confusing the whole year out. It was awesome. It was awesome. So there's something that is in that we're definitely going to continue, but it didn't start there. So just something small.
So part of it, I think this is, that's such a great idea. Because intimacy, we say that definition, kind of a fun way for me to remember at least, is into me, see. Those are intentional conversations to natural relationships that force you to see into each other. And what that creates intimacy. And so when you dream together, when you groan of regret together, when you say, man, we've experienced sorrow this last year, now we have these hopes, that's vulnerable. I love that. So that's a phenomenal example of evaluation that could help any relationship.
It's also helpful when you talk about this type of deal too, because I now we wrote everything down on sheets of paper. I now have sheets and sheets of paper of what Jamie is hoping for and dreaming for this year. And I know specifically how to help her right now.
Yeah.
So even I'm really good with system stuff, and within her business right now, that's not her.
This is true of Jason.
That is not her forte. So looking back on the last 3 years she's had it, I'm just thinking, why have I not helped her with this? This is something I could provide. This is something that I could coach her in, and it not feel like I'm telling her how to run her business.
Yeah, you don't do a good job.
Right. It's something that she's wanting and needing, and something I can literally provide. And that all comes from that moment at the hotel. It's cool. It's just a cool thing. So I love what you're talking about with these 3 things.
Appreciation, coaching, evaluation. Know, what does this setting require of me? And now I'm going to be super focused. Now we have staff meetings once. Because we have 4 campuses and a dream center and 60 staff.
Yeah.
And so we gather everybody. We don't gather everybody like we used to every week, because we don't all, work in a rocket ship anymore. But it's everyone has their own meetings every week, and we gather them once a month. And so part of that, we're going to do appreciation. And so we got to be very specific. We don't want to assume that someone else is doing it. And so there are times where we say, okay, but we're going to combine a couple of these. But what I don't want to do is randomly not know what the point of this. So we're going to have an appreciation time every time. Sometimes that's all we're going to do. Like a staff party it's just appreciation and fun. And if I were like, hey, here's 6 things I'd like us to do better before we go play some more pickleball. It's just odd, right? But I do need to know, in my role as leading this, is this a coaching moment? Is an evaluation moment? And most of them are going to be coaching. Sometimes they're going to be evaluation, and I need to be very specific on that. And to let people know on the front end, hey, this is what this meeting is for. So this coaching, this is not evaluation. So don't let your mind wander of like, is this Jeremy's passive aggressive way to say, no, this is coaching for all of us, right? And so I love that. I think that's helpful for relationships.
Tell me about parenting.
Parenting. My natural is to. I think coach is probably a natural deal. I'm comfortable in any of those areas as a parent. I'm trying not to do the evaluation anymore, just because I'm at a stage in life. Right. I have no problem philosophically evaluating my kids when my role is to help them grow, to say, hey, these are our expectations. This is what I see. Talk to me about it. And this is what we expect, right? So there are seasons, but my kids are over 18 now. And so there's very little evaluation. Now my role is more appreciation and at times coaching, but even less and less. They want me to be their dad, not their boss. And so.
Okay. How do you do that? So for a parent that's listening right now that might be in the same stage of life that there was an evaluation season, how do you step into that season and out of that one?
Okay. When you have to identify it, because it's really awkward for the receiving end for your kids. And if you refuse to walk out of the coaching and evaluation role and your kids are now adults, because it should be less and less of that as they grow up. So you don't leave it too early, but you don't hang on to it too long. What they'll do is they'll just be super annoyed and stop spending time with you. Is the natural way to do it because it's awkward. Or they'll just awkwardly tell you they don't like it. Or maybe they've added some tools and they've figured out how to say that in a kind way and say, hey, our relationship, here's what I want that to look like. So as a parent, if you find yourself, I think I'm still doing the same things with them. I'm over nurturing. I'm over opinionating. I'm over all these things. You've got to back up and say, hey, my role now is appreciation. And then if they ask, sure, I'll help coach, but I'm not here to evaluate. I'm not here to coach. And I think we just got to back off. Otherwise, they will back off for us and we'll wonder why, and we don't grow. But I just believe a lot of relationships that are valuable to us end prematurely because we don't identify what we're offering and what they are needing. And so I think that's a big deal for parenting. I mean, what season are you on with that, with appreciation, coaching, evaluation? Your kids are upper elementary.
10 and 8. Yep. So they were younger. So we're still in an evaluation season. Yep. And I think one of the things that has helped us is Jamie has been very, very vocal on how to give appreciation to the kiddos.
Yeah.
And has brought me into a couple of different methods and it's been so helpful of not being, again, broad with your appreciation. When I'm thinking back to this and like what she has brought, it's the same thing you're bringing to this conversation of being specific with those.
Yes.
So when you tell your kiddo you're smart, you're a great football player, that's actually an identity piece. And when something happens that you have to evaluate on their homework, it's making them think, wait, were you just lying to me? I'm not smart? No. So instead of saying, you're smart. This is a Dan Siegel thing. Dan Siegel's an author. A lot of parenting books that he's done. He's phenomenal. But a lot of the things that he walks through is instead of saying you are smart or you are great, I really love it when you tried to do this.
Yes.
I really love it when you did this and this. And again, it's
point out
specificity.
An attribute, not an identity.
100%. That's exactly what you're talking about. So we're still in that evaluation stage where it's all three of them. And we have seen now with Lily specifically, there's more coaching involved.
Yeah.
And that is a blurry line, at least for me, of, all right, how do I and what do I coach? What do I evaluate? Because it's a tricky little... They're tricky little things.
Yeah.
Little people, little humans, man, they are.
Yes. So it's not like, man, I figured out parenting. But you might say, I feel like in this season, I have a good handle of parenting this one.
Yes. Yes.
But even that changes. Yes. Last thing, we'll just take a couple moments here. In a work setting, I think work for me, mentally, I'm a natural evaluator. Okay. So I notice, and you know this because we work so closely. And so I don't have a lot of filter with you, but I see almost everything. And I'm easily annoyed at any difference between what I expect and what I see. And so I see it, I evaluate, I'm always evaluating. But here's the problem. So I have high level of evaluation internally, and I have been too sensitive to how that evaluation feels because I haven't been clear of, hey, this is evaluation. And so I've been really soft on communication, leaning towards appreciation. Hey, I'm just honestly just super glad you're here, right? And because that makes me feel better leaving the meeting and makes them feel better leaving the meeting. Part of that's a personality issue. Part of it is not understanding leadership. I'm wanting to be better now to say, hey, this conversation is evaluation. Mm-hmm. This is what's expected. This is not cool. Or I want you to know what you are doing in this role is so helpful. Like our mission is moving because of what you're doing. Now, there are a bunch of things that we need to improve on, but I want you to know as I compare you to the standard, man, you're knocking it out. So I want people to know where they stand and not feel like that's a personal challenge. So I'm growing in that area, not of seeing it, of learning to express it clearly and giving people handles. So I would hope in a couple of years that would have a great result on the mental health and the execution of our team.
Well, I think from my seat, I've seen you change a lot of those conversation pieces too, to where you are more specific. You still say, I'm glad you're on this team, but then you do add. Why? Yeah. Why? Yes. It's not broad. I am glad you're here. Yes, I am glad you're here because the way you handled that conversation was really healthy. Yeah. Love that. I love that. So it gives specificity to it and still allows it not to just feel like one-off. Yeah. Like it still feels you is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it is, I think, more helpful in the way that you communicate those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wherever you're applying the things that you're listening to today, I hope if you're just very specific, be intentional. What's needed of you in that relationship today? Appreciation, coaching, evaluation, and then do it with kindness and clarity. And I think it'll help our relationship. So, thanks for the feedback.
Yeah, you're welcome. Was that one for real?
No,
still the same?
No,
that's okay. We'll get it. We'll get it down.
But hey, next week, tune in. We're going to be interviewing a friend of mine, and I think it'll be a story that you'll want to hear. Talk to you later. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Riff. We'll have a brand new episode every week, wherever you find podcasts.